Hi, Internet viewers. This is Frank Rauscher again. We're going to finish the wren finally. I'm sorry I took as long as I did. Like I said, I've had some knee surgery, and I'm sort of like sometimes want to do things and sometimes I don't. So I'm a little dragging on this one. I want to let you know we're going to finish it today. I'm going to show you how to mount it, how to put the legs in, how to locate it, and how to finish it. Okay, so you have a finished product when you're done. Also, I want to give you some info on probably my next project, and it may take maybe a week or before I get off the ground again. I'm going to do a black cap chickadee. So some people have requested that. It's an interesting bird, one of my favorites, and I hope everybody else has an interest in it as well. And I will be pursuing that too. So bear with me on that, but that'll be my next follow-up bird. And I hope you'll enjoy doing that one as well. The wren has, to me, they all have a personality of their own, and I really enjoyed this one. It was one of my favorites way back when I first got started. I was very successful in selling my wrens as I went along, and they were very interesting birds, and everybody seems to like them. We have wrens nesting in our front porch. We got wrens nesting in our back. I got feeders. I even have a feeder that is like on a bar that if bigger birds get on it, they can't get in. Guess who got in there? The nest. I'm not feeding them. They're nesting in my feeder. So my wife has had hanging baskets, and they've nested in there too. So wrens are just they're a piece of work and very enjoyable to have around. I love the song and everything else. So I hope you guys enjoyed this project of the wren, and we're going to wrap it up today. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to move the camera down and see if we can't wrap this thing up, okay? See you in a minute. Okay, we're back again. Finally going to get to finish the wren. I hope I'm in focus here. Yep. What I've done is I've got a base, and you could get, you can even just get a piece of driftwood and mount your bird, but I picked this piece of driftwood here, and what I did, I used 5-minute epoxy, which if anybody needs any, these come in 2 parts. You mix the 2 equally, and then what I did is I put it on the bottom of the piece of driftwood and then attached it to my base. There's a lot of other ways. Some of this wood is not as solid, but with some solid pieces you could drill from the bottom and anchor it with a sheetrock screw or something like that, or a Phillips screw head, and attach your piece of driftwood. As far as the bird goes, I've had a lot of people ask me on birds, how do you determine where the legs go into the body? So what I do is it's usually from the head to the tail. Now, with this thing stretched out more, this would make it a little bit longer. If a bird normally had its tail down, but in the case of the wren, it has its tail up. So I've determined that I came down, or I determined this spot here, and that to me would be about halfway between what would the tail and the head be. But if you need an exact dimension, just so it's helpful to everybody, we'll say from the beak to what would be, excuse me, the midpoint between these two. If I took a ruler and measured over, it's approximately like 2 3/4 from the beak on a straight line basis right over to what would be in the middle between these two. And from the middle of the belly, as you're looking at it straight down, it would be about, from that point, 3/8 this way and 3/8 that way to where you would get 3/4 overall in between. So that's an ideal spot to put your legs in. Now I came along with a micro grinder, and I have a burr, and what I did is I drove that in, and I drove this one in to a depth that will allow that wire to go into the bird. So what I did, hope I did this right, this one goes right in here, and where we have that bend, I'm going to push that back in like that. Okay, and remember, with the toes, the inside toes should be to the inside of the belly. Okay, same way with the other side, it favors the inside to the belly. Okay, and that's how you determine which one's left and which one's right. Now, I placed them both in there. I did not glue them in because I want to show you another thing I've done to just expedite things. You want, just like I did with the original, let me show you this one. I have this mounted here on the driftwood, and what I did before is I made sure that I had a nice position. If you look at this wren, it just has a nice look to it. So you have to position the bird to suit what you like. And in this setting, I like that setting right there. So what I'm doing on this one, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to come along, and I want the bird to look like it's facing down. So what I determined to do is to put a hole, same way, with the burr, driving it into the piece of driftwood. I'm going to get my 1 foot. Now remember, where the bend is, it's just as it enters into the body. So you have to make sure you got that in the right position. Then I fit the one wire into the hole. And that's not going easy, so I will drill it again just to make sure. Okay, and you don't want to make it too big. Just a little bit bigger than the wire. And I got that one going. Okay. Now, I did another hole, which I thought would be a good position for it, right in here. So I'm going to bring this foot around, place that in that hole, and now I got the two of them, and you can see what I'm trying to go after. I'm trying to get this, I don't know if I'm showing this correctly, but I'm trying to get the bird look like it's looking down towards the ground, because this is always this bird is always looking for bugs and everything else. So I'm taking this position so you can see what I'm trying to do here. So that is a position I like, and I hope you can see that well. And it presents the bird pretty nicely there, okay? So what I want to do now, I've got the holes already made, but I'm not gluing anything up yet or anything like that. What I want to do is work on the base a little bit more, because this is just it doesn't have anything that looks natural down here. So we're going to sort of build that up. So I'm going to take, well, maybe I'll leave the bird there for now. But all this on the bottom is, I have what they call reindeer moss, which is, it's a moss that sort of never really dries out, and it's really kind of neat. It's very spongy like, but it's natural. And I'm going to place some of it right in here. And you could use you could use a lot of different things, you know. You could even have it wood, or you can even get sawdust and put that at the bottom so it looks like dirt. There's a lot of ways you can build it up. I just happen to like the moss. It just gives a nice, easy way of going about. Oops, excuse me. Got my head in there. I'm going to put a little bit there and a little bit back here. And this seems a little fat, so I'm going to trim some of this and get it down more. Then I'll add a little over here, and we'll complete the back of it here. Hope I got this all in the camera view. Maybe that's just a little much there too, so put a little there and a little there. And that seems to dress it out pretty good, so you can see what I'm trying to achieve there. So it's and the bird would look like he's ready to start looking to see if he can find some bugs or something like that. And I just like that position. So what I do is I get some type of tacky glue. You could even get Elmer's glue or something like that. And what I'm going to do is lift up some of this. I'm going to run some of that out. Get that in there. I'm going to come over here, run some through there. Then I'll get the little piece over here. Run a little strip in there, get that in there. We have a little bit more in the back. Just put a little glue in there. Push that in. So it's all part of it. Take that little bit out. Glue that up, going around there. Push that in. And then, let's see, did I get this? No. I'm going to come in here and get some glue in there. And push that back. Let's see. And I got that glued pretty good in there. Okay, so now we got the base pretty much dressed out, but you could use a multitude of different things in there. I used to save some sawdust, and not just sawdust, like if you had walnut sawdust, it's a darker, and I'd mix it with a lighter piece of wood, and then I'd put Elmer's glue all around and then sprinkle the sawdust around, and it looks like earthy look. And you could add little pieces of wood in there too, besides the one big piece of driftwood. And that's a nice way of showing it off too. It just depends on what you like. Or you could just get a big piece of driftwood, mount the bird on it, and call it a day. You don't need even a base. But I like the bases because it dresses it out. And that's basically what I do. Now, I'm going to take this bird off. I'm going to mix 5 minutes of a 5-minute epoxy. I'm going to apply that inside the hole on each one and a little bit on the rods that both go into the base and into the bird. And the 5-minute epoxy will give me time. Now, the thing you got to make sure is this may want to spring up as this one's doing. So when you glue it up, you may want to hold it down. The other thing you want to do too is straighten out your toes so they look nice. And you want a little bit of a spread, just a little bit. And like this back toe here, the nail should be out a little bit more. So I'm going to move that out and stretch it. And then I'll check the other side. Now, I'm going to hold that and slide that toe over, and then slide that toe over. And then not all of the nails have to be touched. Like the back one here could be raised because it's not always holding. The ball of its foot is really where it should be attached, and the back toe could be just laying there but not grabbing anything. So when I go to glue this up now, I want to make sure I hold this down because I see that springing up. But in general, that is how we do it. And like I said, I've put on in here raw sienna. That was the initial coat. And the other thing that I've enhanced a little bit more is the white, just a little bit, because my white sort of lost some punch, and it's not real bright white, okay? You can make it that way, but I didn't. So see, you can see how that popped out. So I got to hold that. And let me take that off here. But the other thing, while I have that off, let me also explain this too. The beak itself, now that we had it all painted, I come in with a gloss medium. This is Liquitex, but you can get them in smaller containers. I get just a little bit on a small brush. I'll wet the tip of my brush, just go in and get a little bit while the brush is just wet on the about halfway up on my brush, and then that's just enough to paint everything on the beak. And what it does, it puts a glaze on it that looks bony, and that really shows it up really nice, okay? And the last thing I'm going to do before I mount this is I'm going to get, let me get the right paint here. Here it is. Raw umber. It's burnt umber. You're going to get burnt umber, which is a darker brown. You're going to get a small wash of that, and you're going to wash that over, okay? Over the top of that, which, when you see it on here, it gives like a duller brown. It still shows the raw sienna coming through, which is that orangey look, but it subdues it a little bit. So you want to add maybe a wash just over, a light wash, just to bring it down. And then you have your finished product. And like I said, I mix 5-minute epoxy because that works out great. And I put each one in the hole that we had prepared. And you got to prepare this before you do any gluing or try to get the setting. I could have had the bird sitting up, but in this case, I really had it bend down. So it really depends on what position you like to put the bird in and how it looks. And I just like this look that I was coming up with here. And I'm going to try to get this back into the hole I designed. Let's see. I got so many holes in this wood, I'm losing the location here. Here we go. There. And in here. And there's the setting right there. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this piece. If you did, I would hope that you would give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you enjoyed doing this. It's a real cute bird. And again, apologize for not having everything anchored down here. Here we go. Here's the hole. I missed the location. There we go. And that is the setting that we're looking for. So, like I said in the beginning of my video here, I'm planning on doing a black-capped chickadee on my next one. And I hope you will enjoy that as well. I'll probably be starting that in about a week or so or something like that. And where you can get the moss, it's called reindeer moss, and you could get that at like a Michael's, any hobby shop. They usually carry this, and it's not that expensive. And you can add that to your base or something like that. Or, like I said, sometimes I just get a nice large piece of driftwood and I cut a flat on the bottom side and then just let it sit and mount the bird right on that. And that makes a nice setting as well. You don't always need the base, but a base sort of dresses it out. So again, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next video, and I hope you'll enjoy doing the black-capped chickadee. And I thank you again, and we'll see you. Bye now.